Hello, my biddies. How are you today? I'm good. The weather's much better today. I got sleep last night because it was finally cool. It was so nice. Slept so much. Hope everybody's doing well. I have nothing to report. My life is boring. So yeah, that's happening. Um, I hope everybody's good. Everything's good here. Want to just get into it? Click out of here. Um, Reality roundup today. There won't be a reality roundup tomorrow because the morning I'll have to watch Balin. Do Mondays and Tuesdays or Tuesdays and Wednesdays for reality roundups. That's how it's gonna be. Finally, I get a little bit of time to myself. So this is Jay and Pamela, season 2, episode 4. Surprise, you're a daddy. So we open, we're still with the doctor where he's explaining how to get eggs in the IVF procedure and carrier screening. They're not even sure egg retrieval is possible because of the fracture wrist for Pamela. He thinks it's feasible though. Pamela wants to consult and make sure she can with a OI specialist to make sure that she can't carry a baby. I don't see how she can. Like, just her little body is so like twisted around that I don't see how it couldn't be harmful for her. Uh, Later, they're going to see some friends. A man named Winston who has the same condition as they do, his wife Mayfair, and their daughter who was also born with OI. Pamela says she won't have Pamela is putting on her makeup, dressing herself out because she's like a tuna nines kind of person. Opposite of me for sure. Pamela says she won't have time for makeup if they have a kid. Um, Jay disagrees. Apparently, Winston and Mayfair's daughter was a surprise. Winston has a special chair to help him get on the floor so he can play with her. And Jay mentions that they need a chair like that. Keep that in mind. And they discuss, babies and, special challenges. Uh, Mayfair is completely not disabled. Only Winston is, and the baby. But the baby looks like it's doing a lot better than the older people with this. They said there are new medications for her and stuff like that, but she's not walking, which is not surprising. Um, Pamela doesn't think Jay is being realistic about having a baby, so she has a plan. Back at the apartment, Jay is rolling around on the floor. Winston and Mayfair got a new lift chair, and they gave Jay and Pamela the old one. Pamela says she hasn't been on the floor since high school. Not gonna lie, I might need one of these. Mostly get up off the floor. I can get down fine. It's getting back up that's the issue. Later at the apartment, the doorbell rings and there's an orphaned baby at the door. And Jay asks, "Whose white baby is this?" And Pamela tells him, "Surprise, your daddy." I'm skipping the gross conversations that these two have because they can be really disgusting. Just saying. The baby's crying like crazy and they need to figure out what's wrong with it. It is one of those fake training dolls babies. So it has keys and you have to do an action also and put the key in. You feed the baby and then you put the key in, see if it stops crying. If it doesn't, you gotta go into like a diaper change or something else. um, Jay complains about how Pamela is holding the baby, and she gets mad and tells him to do it himself. She's very snarky. Keep that in mind too. Um, I can't wait for Colin and Balin and Colin to have this fake baby. It's gonna be awesome. Pamela has more experience because she does have two younger siblings, but she says you have to clean the toes when you do a diaper change. I don't understand that. I never cleaned my kids' toes when they had diaper change unless they stepped in the poo. They got the baby to stop crying, and then it starts again almost immediately. I wonder if it's programmed with different cries because real babies have different cries for different, depending on their needs. Like when my kids were babies, I could tell whether they were hungry or tired or needed a diaper change based on how they were crying. Um, and this is even a scientific thing. You can look up, if I remember correctly, if they're hungry, it's a cry, stop, cry, stop type of thing. Other cries have different rhythms. Um, they're not getting any sleep because the baby keeps crying. Pamela forgot she was going to get her nails done with Mayfair that day, so she had to leave. Uh, she leaves the baby with Jay, who has meetings for work. It's take your baby to work day for Jay. Mayfair says Pamela will make a great mom because she's already thinking about it, and I did say that last week myself. Jay and Pamela's neighbor Jeff stops by to help Jay with the baby. Jay doesn't like that Pamela acts like she's the expert and he has to learn everything or learn from her rather than learning it on his own, together or on his own. He has ADHD and autism and is now having doubts about having a kid. After 3 days later, they're feeling it. They have doctor's appointments and the neighbors are complaining about Cheddar barking while they're gone. So Raphael and Renee are coming over to watch them and unbeknownst to them, babysit. Raphael is amazed when he walks in and Jay is on the floor. Raphael is skeptical about the doll. Jay wants to talk to Pamela because now she's telling the Reds about his downfall. Renee got caught up in taking care of the baby. It's so cute. She's walking around the apartment, jungling the baby like you do. The baby. The baby's just bawling. Raphael wants to put it in a closet. No one puts baby in the closet, Raphael. Come on. They're worried about how Jay will react if he's not a good enough parent. They say he's very sensitive. They have to return the baby, and Jay says he's going to miss his melatonin deficient baby. Pamela agrees, but makes her feel better about becoming a mom. Jay tells Pamela he felt lonely and that they didn't communicate. They don't communicate well when they're not calm. He says he feels she belittled him and made him feel like he's a babysitter instead of a parent. And I mean, I could see that. I could see that. He's trying to learn, and she's not really giving him a chance to. Pamela thought they worked as a team. Not when you're throwing up your hands and going do it yourself. That's not teamwork, Pamela. She did get really sarcastic with him more than once, and now she's being defensive. I think she's overreacting of what he's saying. Pamela rolls away from the conversation right in the middle of it, and that's the end of the episode. Wasn't a whole lot going on. Too many gross conversations about things that we're not going to discuss here right now because it's too early in the episode. So in a Reddit reads, first up we have Petty Revenge, and it is entitled Neighbor Self-Owns by Calling Code Enforcement on Himself. We bought our house 4 years ago. During the showing, inspections, appraisal, and approval, the city said no. By the city, no one said anything about the neighbor's fence that spanned from the front right corner of his house, if looking at him from across the street, across his driveway with a gate to the front left corner of my house. This efficiently blocked me from accessing the 30-foot by 4-foot wide, 30-foot long by 4-foot wide strip of my own property. It was all tall grass that he mowed. Later that year in November, I noticed a tiny bit of water seeping into the basement on that side of the house. We just gotten through our third historic 100-year rainfall of the year. The third 100-year rainfall. This is what's happening right now, guys. A quick ocular pat down of that side of the house showed a slight slope towards the house. I plan to hire someone in the spring to slope it away and install a French drain so I didn't flood his driveway like a good neighbor. The next spring, I hired the crew and they went over and started working. The neighbor, 60-ish years old, who looks 80 according to my wife, came out all hot and screaming at these guys, wondering what they were doing on his property. Mind you, I'd never had an issue with a siding repair who accessed the same side, or the cable guy, or the plumber, who I had all accessed that side many times before. He gave them a hard time for a few minutes, and they blew it off and thought he'd been drinking all day. They sloped, hill, mulched, and left a nice flower bed for future use. Oh, that's nice. Last year, I planted some roses in the bed and hired a company to do a whole yard clean out. They got to that side to pull weeds and lay fresh mulch. The old man came out screaming out of the house, telling him to get off his property. He even looked took a half-assed punch slash swipe at one of the guys. So now he's getting violent, calling them all dirty Mexicans. These people were white, so that made no sense. Always funny when white people are called Mexicans and the Mexicans are called white, because I've had that happen too. um, I came out and he started yelling, saying they were messing up his yard and he wanted me to pay to resod. I said, no way. He called me a bitch over and over again, and I told him to ignore that side. I spoke with my wife, and we both agreed if he wants to be a dick, we'll just be petty and let that overgrow so he can look at it. You can't really see it from the street, so I don't care. Weeds were 4 foot tall by the end of the summer. That's true. The spring was wet, so the weeds were knee-high by the start of May. I was outside mowing when he came over to the fence and asked, when are you going to clean this crap up? I said, when I have assurances that you won't harass me or workers, then I will clean it up. This upset him and he started calling me a bitch over and over again. Even threw in the word lazy for good measure. Yeah, she's the lazy one. She's out there cleaning up her yard, but she's the lazy one. I said, call the city, and ignored him. He turned his attention to the other neighbors and started raising holy hell with them. My house, while older, is well maintained and carefully landscaped. His house has aluminum siding from the 80s. He doesn't edge any of the walks or driveway, and he has old aluminum awnings that are filthy. His back patio has tall weeds between the pavers. I say nothing about it. It's not mine, and honestly, it's keeping values down enough that the tax man didn't raise my rate, so I just don't care. The next day, code enforcement knocks on my door. He called. The guy said, I'm not sure why I'm here. I see no weeds, and you have a nice home. Can you show me where he thinks the weeds are? So I went to the side of the house. Code enforcement sees his fence blocking my access. Well, nothing I can do to you, but he has 10 days to remove that fence. He also needs to weed his patio and edge the sidewalk. The next morning, his wife came over and asked if I would split the cost of removing the fence. I said, sorry, but us bitches are out of charity this week. The next morning, now there's an old man sweating in the heat, removing the fence. I can hear him calling his kids to come help because their old man couldn't keep his mouth shut. He could at least tolerate someone in his grass to make it look good, but look nice, but no. Tomorrow, now that I have access, I'm removing those roses and putting them somewhere where I can enjoy them. The mulch will be removed. I'll lay down some landscape plastic and cover the whole thing in pea gravel. You want to be a dick? Fine. Look at the crappy side of my house. Comfortable Fly said maybe he should have considered, be a good neighbor, and then he wouldn't be out in the heat doing hard labor. Exactly. He had 10 days. Surely the weather's going to change. Second separate comment is from Katzen. I had a horrendous neighbor who tried to weaponize code enforcement on me. What she didn't count on was the neighbor on the other side of her house, whom she also treated like crap. And a perfect example of why it pays to get your neighbors. He was the head of city code enforcement, and she didn't get anywhere trying to get me in trouble for the things she was doing herself. He and I had a little block party in front of her house when she put it on the market. Oh, should have had a party when my neighbors moved. Roland Rock says, maybe a strip of sand so that you can attract feral cats to leave them little treasures. Oh, that's evil. You really want to put up with the cats, though? They'll probably just pee on your house, to be honest, because that's what they like to do. Next is the am I overreacting, and it is entitled, Am I overreacting or did I have a slow moment? You still okay, so there are texts. I guess we'll show them. You still awake? Yeah. Did you look up what helps for recovery when you have E. coli? Just fluids and liquid IV, and also bananas help food wise. That's not what I asked. What do you mean? Read it again. That is what you asked, ma'am. You didn't, you just started listing things, and that's not what I asked. Okay, I mean, I'm not sure. Never mind though. Appreciate you looking up though. Those things are what will help with recovery. Yeah, I can. I mean, I'm not sure what all you wanted me to say, but I just listed the recovery methods that were suggested. There wasn't much over the counter wise besides the basics. It's pretty much cleaning out the poisons with fluids. Sir, I asked you if you looked it up. That was a yes or no. I didn't ask for a list of things. So you asked him because why? I'm still not asking, but you're still gonna going. You ruined something I thought was cute with a very high key slow moment. No, no, that's not acceptable. Understand from my perspective, I legitimately thought you were asking for suggestions when you asked if I looked up the recovery options. The questions you asked weren't clear. I'm not sure why me looking up recovery options is different than me listening when both lead to a yes. My question was a yes or no question. It was clear. So he gave you extra stuff rather than just a yes or no. That is not offensive at all. It's dumb. Me, 25 male, and the female, 29, have been chatting for some time now. We went on a date and it went well. She has a 2-year-old daughter, which I don't have a problem with. For context, I mentioned it. We haven't had any issues and things have been slow, but still fine. Of course, I accommodate her being a mother, so I don't rush trying to see her. But this interaction was kind of weird. So I guess my question is, did I genuinely misread what she was asking? I thought if I looked up recovery message, she was asking for a list of things, but I guess she wanted a yes or no, which is weird. It's still a yes. My question is, would it be different how I responded? I should have said yes or no. I guess I thought just saying yes or no would be dry and to show a level of care that I expressed. But I guess she wanted a yes or no. Edited, she has E. coli, not me. Mods deleted the update post. That's okay, we can still find it, most likely. Expert professional says, yeah, but if you just said yes, you wouldn't then be asking what the helpful things are. To my mind, if you're asking what things help in a recovery, you actually want to know what they are. Exactly. Any reasonable person would. Girlfriend, did you look up that helpful things for recovery? OP, yes. Girlfriend, okay, what are they? Exactly. Girlfriend, OP lists them off. Girlfriend now annoyed because she had to ask. She didn't just ask OP to look it up because she had nothing better to say. Reynolds says, this is exactly what I was thinking too. Sounds like she was looking for a reason to be upset. No answer he gave would have been the right one. Bro needs to run away. Aloha Tamburina says, imagine being this woman's kid. Poor kid. Bunch of numbers says, Nor, I find this insufferable. Yes, exactly. Someone else answered, it's emotional manipulation. Manipulation. I can't say manipulation. I can say manipulation for some reason. Pink Popsicle is the third top rated comment. She says, why did she think her asking would lead to a cute moment? Deteriorating flesh is literally, hey babe, I'm crapping my a-hole off. Clean off, cute, right? Nothing cute about E. coli. Just saying. Can be pretty deadly, actually. Next, we have entitled people, and it's entitled, Ma'am, your skin isn't a dry erase board. You are not a human etch a sketch. Oh, we didn't look for his update. Shoot. Wait a minute. Let's go find the update. There it is. What? Testing 1, 2. Okay, the mic is back on. And I'm back. Next, we have Traumatized and Back, and is entitled, Young Guy Kept Making Fun of My Age at a Party. I was in my 40s at the time of the story. I'm at a house party with mixed ages. Some people I knew before, but most are new to me. A guy in his 20s asked me how old I was. I told him. He started making fun of my age. He kept going on and on and on about my age for quite some time, mocking me for being old, calling me decrepit, etc. To a guy you'd never met before? Rude. Whenever he saw me, he'd say, "Hey, old man winner," and other unimaginative bars. Like, he says other imaginative. I would call this unimaginative. And other imaginative bars like that. At one point, we're in the backyard, about 10 to 15 people milling about. The Joker comes out with a friend. He spots me and loudly mocks me and my age again. Well, getting old does suck, I replied, but with any luck, it won't happen to you. He replied, damn right it won't. A moment passed and one of his other friends started laughing. Dude, he burned you so bad. All right, let's see how this works. Clutching my pearl says it's always wild to me when people make fun of your age. You're clowning me for not dying. Doohickey says, LOL, my dad's in his 80s and naturally going through some stuff. He sighs and says, don't get old. And finally I said, so I should consider the alternative. Right. No, don't do that. The alternative isn't fun. Caught a client. This is from What Should I Do? It's entitled, Caught a client crap talking me, and now she's scrambling to lie about it. How do I respond? And should I drop her? Yes, you should drop her. Backstory, I'm a pet sitter and I've had this regular weekly client since February. I visit her now 7-month-old German short-hair pointer twice a day on Mondays and Tuesdays, and more as needed. The last couple of weeks, she seems to have some issues, low-key blaming me for stuff. For example, the puppy peed in her crate last Monday. She texted me about it with new instructions on water intake and potty times, and seemed annoyed with me even though she peed 3 times during my visit, but whatever. We seem to have gotten back to normal this week or so, I thought. Anyway, during my visit this morning, as I was playing with the puppy, I tweaked something in my lower back. Throughout the day, it got worse to the point where I can only walk hunched over. That does not sound good. I didn't cancel my 3 p.m. visit and decided just to power through. In the past, she's asked me to try to exercise her a lot because she's hyper in the evenings. So why don't you exercise her, ma'am? So I still try to play fetch with her and have her sniff out treats in the grass for some mental stimulation. As you can see, the text I explained this to her right after the visit, just in case it wasn't enough, and I didn't want any snark about her being hyper or whatever later on. She has a Ring camera and she could review the entire visit if she wanted. So she would see me hunched over having a difficult time while the puppy yanks me around and jumps all over me. I got this text I assume was meant for her husband. It's pretty clear she was about me, but when I responded, she came up with this crazy story that doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure how to respond or if I should drop the client. She lives a mile away and I make decent money from her. I truly do care about the dog. I want her to know that I know her story is BS. I think I want to keep the option for her to continue to book with me, but she needs to own up to this before I continue. How should I respond? um, so I owed you 2.5 hours. I did 30 minutes last Thursday, 30 extra Monday and Tuesday, and 1.5 hours today. So we should be good, I think. Also, I pulled something in my lower back this morning when I was playing with her. Don't even know what I did. It wasn't too bad, but it got way worse throughout the day. I can't even walk upright. So this afternoon, I wasn't able to play with her as much as I normally would. I threw the ball a bit and hid some treats in the grass for her to snuff out and tried to keep her busy. So if she's hyper or anything, then I am sorry. Uh, and the next was, I hope you feel better and get some Tiger Balm. ChatGPT says she's probably just lazy, giving us an excuse. Plus, nothing shows hurting herself, and her text says, I don't know how. And she says, lazy? Okay. My daughter in urgent care, and the nurse told her she found any crave film of her hand showing it's broken. She shut it in the garage door or at work, both of her hands. I don't think both my texts made it to you. They told her just get a wrap. Like, what the heck? They said that they told her not to be lazy, using the pull cord to shut the garage door. Like, are they crazy? She manages an apartment complex. She has Tiger Balm on her hands for pain. I was trying to send that to you. I think the only Tiger Balm part went to not correct X-ray. And the nurse works at the hospital with me, too, knowing that my daughter has 2 kids who would lie about her hands getting shut in the door, who would lie about not hurting their back when it's on video. Oh crap, I thought I was texting my coworker about the film of a hand and nurse. I just realized I've been texting you. Well, anyways, now, my daughter's work drama. I think her 8 fingers are broken. And then she sends a picture, and I'm not going to show it to you, of bruised hands. That's so weird. I'm so confused. Why would you do that? Edit, for those of you assuming I'm no showing or canceling visits, calling me lazy, where are you getting this from? I've never canceled a pet sitting booking before. Since I started doing this with this particular client, I usually agree to last minute visits or adding extra time to visits without much notice. I'm not perfect by any means, but I do what is required of me and take my responsibilities to these animals seriously. And then there's an update. I'm going to be direct. I don't appreciate the insinuation that I'm lazy or that I'm using an injury as an excuse to avoid my responsibilities. I take my responsibilities to your dog seriously, but at times I feel like there's been some frustration with my care. Not just from this, but also previous texts that made me feel like I was being blamed for a lot of things, like her pooping a lot, her being hyper in the evenings, peeing in her crate, etc. Regarding my injury, I still completed the visit because I care about your dog and make my commitments and take my commitments seriously. I made sure she was able to go outside, potty multiple times, chase the ball, and sniff for treats. What I'm struggling to understand is what specifically was lacking in the care I provided. I've never canceled on you. I would only do so in the event of a genuine emergency. I have always tried to be reliable and accommodating. I truly love your dog and enjoy spending time with her. Why are we censoring dogs' names? So dumb. However, if we are going to continue working together, I think we need to have an honest conversation about expectations and mutual respect. Final update. After the last update, I never responded to her. I just never responded to her rambling. I was going to give it some time and thought first. That was 2 days ago. I just got notified on Rover that she has canceled all future bookings. Kind of wish I was the one to do it, but oh well, good riddance. God's worst girl says, I'd be so petty and say, ChatGPT says you should find a new dog sitter. Kennel Dog says, this is the best answer so far. Butterfly says, this one, she obviously is trying to save face with you about how she talked about you. I'd be winging pissed. Um, Reese's Cup says, OMG, the spam replying, trying to cover her tracks, drop her as a client. You don't have to continue doing business with anyone you don't feel comfortable with doing business with. Krista says, to piggyback on this, just because you care about her dog doesn't mean you have to be treated this way. Her dog should be fine. She got a German Shorthair parrot pointer, knowing a breed for high energy level and prey drive. If she can't handle her puppy needs in the evening, oh no, she actually has to pay attention to her dog. What a concept / sarcasm. Then she doesn't deserve the puppy and needs to do research before getting a specific breed or a dog in general. An adult dog would be more hyper during the evening when their people are home, not just puppies. Dogs are social creatures and love their humans. Exactly. Reese's Cups also says, oh no, that was the second top right comment. Third top right comment is from Accomplished Web and says AI handpick. Next, we have malicious compliance, and it is entitled Professional Photographer Knew Better Than 3 Ophthalmologists. It cost him 750 euros. I think that's euros. I'm qualified dispensing optician in France. Qualified dispensing opticians here are trained in physiological optics and visual analysis. We can adapt a prescription when needed, but we are not allowed to create one from scratch. Back when I was learning the trade, a colleague of mine had a perfect malicious compliance moment with a customer. Oh, did I mention that this was from malicious compliance? I may have forgotten that. At the time, the medical prescription wasn't legally required to buy glasses. The customer had seen 3 different ophthalmologists, received 3 different prescriptions, and decided to cherry pick the parts he liked from each one to build his own improved prescription. Why? How do you do that? That doesn't even seem worse. The worst part was the addition on his progressive lenses. For those unfamiliar, the addition is the extra magnification power used for reading and near vision in the lower part of the lens, which sucks, by the way. I hate it. In almost all cases, the addition is identical in both eyes. Significant decreases and extremely rare and usually tied to specific medical conditions. This customer was not one of those cases. Instead, he wanted one eye focused for about 26 inches and the other for about 16 inches. Think of walking with a stiletto heel on one foot and a flat shoe on the other. Unless your body is built for it, you're going to have a bad time. Actually, that's not that unusual. I have a friend that has a prescription lens for one eye and not the other. One is for, because she doesn't want to wear glasses. She reads with one eye and does her far vision with the other. It's weird. It's weird, I know, but that's what she does. My colleague explained repeatedly this was a terrible idea. Customer replied, I'm a professional photographer. I know optics. Just do what I tell you. My colleague warned him that our satisfaction guarantee would not apply, strongly advised against this as part of his professional duty, and had him sign a document acknowledging all of it. Good for her. Smart. Remember, he was a licensed optician, but not just a salesperson giving an opinion. Customer doubled down. It'll work. I know what I'm doing. So my colleague did exactly what he asked. The lenses arrived. A high-end pair of progressive lenses cost him about $850. He put them on. This is incredibly uncomfortable. I can't see properly. Not crap. No kidding. Yes, but that's not normal. Actually, it is. So what are we going to do? Nothing. Silence. In the end, we were kind enough to offer a discount on a replacement pair made with sensible prescription. We could technically have used one of our manufacturer adaptation allowances and replaced the lenses at no cost. But why would you do that when it was his fault in the first place? But those exist for genuine adaptation issues, prescription errors, dispensing errors, and unusual medical circumstances, like my husband just had done last year. Yeah, last year. He got a new pair of glasses, and he's like, these aren't right, these aren't right, these aren't right. And then he's like, it's really bad at night. So he was driving at night, and he said, let me know when you can read that sign. And instead of just saying, yeah, I can read the sign now, he wanted me to repeat the sign, which was dumb. Um, so I was doing that, and we had to be right on top of the sign before he could read it. It was bad. He got them redone, thank goodness, but it was bad. This was none of those. The lenses are made exactly as ordered and performed exactly as everyone except the customer expected them to. Um, Optico says, a retired master optician and ophthalmic technician, I approve this malicious compliance. And I'm laughing. 3 laughing, crying emojis. um, Tom Kaczynski says, people are morons. I had a 50-year-old patient who was minus 250, 2.50, nearsighted. That means she's blurry at a distance and needs glasses for driving and TV, etc. But because of nearsightedness, she can read well up close without glasses. That's me. She told me she wanted LASIK. I told her that once she was no longer nearsighted, she would need to wear glasses for reading for all near things. Essentially, she would be paying thousands of dollars to trade distance glasses for near glasses. I refused to refer her because I knew she'd hate it. Several months later on, she's on my schedule as a post LASIK follow-up. Turns out she self-referred herself and got it done. Our talk went something like this. I see you had LASIK done. How's it going? Those idiots did a terrible job. I can't read anything anymore. Now I know that I should not get LASIK. Okay, sounds good. Sounds like it worked exactly as expected. No, I was told I would be clear without glasses. When we then opened my last chart and I showed her where I typed in all caps, thoroughly ed patients she will not see at near after getting LASIK, no referral to be made, as she will hate the results. Then she tried to blame the surgeons for not telling her what I'm sure they did. Basis, the LP answers. One of my customers was a minus 12 in both eyes before cataract surgery. Customer's reaction, I've worn glasses for as long as I can remember, and I wouldn't change that at 70 plus. But now I can finally choose frames without worrying about lens thickness. I can actually take them off at home. It's paradise. And from my point of view, it's wisdom. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad his patient was happy at least. Delicious Tree Blood said, too bad you didn't see that coming. We have evil buildings, and this is the Montreal Biosphere on fire in 1976. I don't even remember this happening. And I can't see. Oh, but because there's nothing there to see. That is scary. That is so scary. I don't even know what happened. I mean, I'm a little kid, so I wouldn't. It was the bicentennial. I remember that happening. McGillis is a char says it looks like a demon is about to hatch. Happy Anathema says that, wow, that must have been off for the biosphere. Freddie says, not that much. If I remember right, the structure filler burned down, but the building inside was pretty much untouched and the structure is still standing. That's cool. It's an ecological museum. Somebody says that the steel frame was, it's a steel frame, but it was covered by acrylic plastic sheets, which is what burned. No new acrylic sheets since, and the biosphere is now see-through. And somebody says it looks great without it. This might be a picture. Yeah, here it is. That's what it looks like today. Can't even tell it burned. So that's cool. Next is AITAH, and it is entitled AITAH for not going by a different name than my birth name because it makes my friends uncomfortable. Why would your birth name make your friends uncomfortable? Somebody got hippie parents, so I'm just saying. Honestly, I think this whole situation is stupid. but I want some outside opinions. I, 21 female, have always been questioned about my name. Most people assume it's a chosen name, but it's the one on my birth certificate. I honestly like my name and the meaning behind it, but apparently my friends think it's inappropriate to go by. My name is Moonshadow. It's a song. So after a song and an astrological effect. I've dealt with questions my whole life, and most of my teachers throughout school would refer to me by my middle name because it was easier to remember. Okay, that's disrespectful. Moonshadow is not hard to remember. There's a freaking song. Are you kidding me right now? Now I'm an adult, I get less comments or questions. My friends never seem to care about my name, and I never really thought anyone did because it was just my name. However, the other day we were supposed to meet up at a restaurant, and I walked into this weird vibe. Basically, all of my friends had staged an intervention telling me that they wanted me to go by a different name because they felt uncomfortable using mine. Why? I don't understand. I don't understand. That's disrespectful. When I asked why, they said my name sounded native. Okay, it's not. And that by using it, I was appropriating Native American culture. Okay, well, my name is appropriating African culture. Nobody knows that. I pointed out that I was Cherokee, and they said I didn't act like it. Oh my God, I can't. So not only is her name not Native American at all, like not at all Native American, she is Native American. And they still think no let her use her own freaking name. So it didn't count. Oh my gosh. At that point, I was irritated and snapped at them, saying I wasn't going to change my name because they were racist, which was probably out of line looking. No, it was not. It was not at all out of line. It was exactly in line. I left after that, and now my phone is being blown up by messages from the group and people outside of it saying that I'm being a bad friend by not respecting a boundary. No, 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 no. That's not how boundaries work, people. Boundaries are for you. So now, Moonshadow, you need to set some boundaries for yourself and not talk to these people anymore. They are not your friends. Your friends would say, oh, wow, that's a really cool name. I love that song. These people are not your friends. Honestly, I don't see anything wrong with my name, but having so many people tell me I'm in the wrong is messing with me. I would really appreciate some advice. Sort of update. I wasn't really expecting so much attention to this. No one is. No one does. No one expects it. I've read a lot of the comments and a few messages that I've gotten saying it's great to be validated for the fact that I'm NTA. I do want to clear up one thing I saw a few times. My name isn't Cherokee, so I probably should have explained that better. And no, it's not. It's an astrological phenomenon. You know, when you're outside and the moon's really bright and you have a shadow, it's a freaking moon shadow. That's all it means. I just brought up my heritage as a point to point out the insane argument that they had. I understood that. Did you? My name comes from a song by Cat Stevens that my mom really liked. I saw a couple of people ask my heritage specifically, which I don't think is relevant, but whatever. I'm half Cherokee, half white, and I look pretty white. A lot of people, if you know any like Native American people, they act like normal Americans. They don't act Native American. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. I wish Kim was here to tell us that. So I do have a lot of Native American friends. I, however, am not, even no matter what my family has said in the past. Um, oh, good Lord. These people. A lot of people are, that's like saying my niece would need to change her last name because she doesn't look Mexican, even though she is like a quarter Mexican. A lot of people are saying that I should leave with a friend group. I'm kind of hesitant because we've been friends since high school. It doesn't matter. These people are not your friends, probably weren't your friends in high school either. I think I'm going to try and have a conversation with them again to hopefully fix the situation. It's not going to be fixed. They're just a-holes. I don't want to lose these people who I've been around for such a big part of my life. I will not miss them. I will not miss them, trust me. I don't want to, but I don't want to change a huge part of myself and my identity just to keep them around. I love my name and the meaning it has to both of my parents and myself. I don't know if I'll update it afterwards, but I'll try to. Thanks for all your comments. Update. I met with the group yesterday and tried to talk this out. I'm still pretty upset, so I'm trying to keep this simple and just say what happened. It was pretty tense when I got there, and we were all pretty quiet until everyone arrived. I started saying that I'm not going to change my name, and they asked why they thought it was appropriate to ask them to. There was a lot of back and forth, basically repeating what was said the other day, but after I pushed more, one of them, I'll call Cam, blew up on me. Cam basically had a list of grievances with me, most of them being related to my heritage, disabilities, and how I dress. Long story short, I've been working on myself and my health more, and she didn't like the changes. She said I was selfish for thinking I'm better than everyone else and that I was making everyone uncomfortable. Cam, dude. Cam's obviously a girl. I'm calling her a dude anyway. Your jealousy is clouding your thinking. You're letting your thoughts, what was that Al said? You're letting your thoughts dictate your thoughts. Stop it. After a while of arguing, I decided that I wanted to leave. I texted the group chat later and said I would not be contacting them again and that I was done with them. Sending some pretty nasty messages. I'm still pretty upset about cutting them off, but I know that friends don't act like this. I have friends outside of this group, so I'm not completely phoning this now, which is good. I know I made the right decision, but it still kind of sucks. It does. It's oh, I can't even with this one. Oh my goodness. It's insane. I wish Kim was here. I wish Kim was I gotta get a hold of that girl. I gotta get a hold of that girl and get her on here like on a regular basis because this is insanity. My name is more Native. Thanks. My name is not Native American at all. My name sounds more Native American than hers, than any of her names. Curious Lap says, NTA saying you don't like act Cherokee is totally racist. Arian says exactly. OP should ask someone to explain what to act Cherokee. Jeez. Lean Until Blue says, maybe she wore war paint and feathers and scalped settlers on part Sioux. Gay Cat Daddy says, my first thought was she was supposed to walk around always looking like an extra from an old racist John Wayne movie. I'm not saying that one. It's a South Park reference, though. You may know. Sufficient Life says, better friends, yikes, ETA. Find better friends. Naomi Wish says, FFS, can people please learn that a boundary is not to control others, instead is about our own reactions to scenarios. NTAOP, your friends are trying to control you using therapy speak. Sheikh Boo says this one, they need to examine why saying your names makes them uncomfortable. Make them listen to the song Bad Indian by the Dead Pioneers. I'm going to need to look that up. I better make a note of that because I will forget. I'm making a note of that because I forget. Don't. Okay. Okay, Meringue says, NTA, you're not the one respecting a boundary. Your so-called Kens are the ones not respecting your boundary, that you wish to be called by your given name. They are the a-holes. Also, your teachers were a-holes too. How is Moonshine a difficult name to remember? I'm sure you were the only one in class, if not school, with that name. How hard would it be to remember a unique name that's yours? Yeah, I never went by a different name. Learned Hand says, young people have weaponized the word boundary by using it like preference, but somehow hardened and wrapped up in therapy speak. The idea you have a boundary about your name is pure ridiculousness. that I have a boundary about your name. It's pure ridiculousness. Future Valuable says, I've been saying this a lot lately. Anytime someone has something negative to say or that's way out of line, they mark it as a boundary so they can get away with trying to make people bend to their will. What a time to be alive. Sex Guy says it's because other people their age don't know what a boundary is either. They've been taught that to respect people's boundaries, they're genuinely a good person. But then someone in proximity says something ridiculous like, you're not native enough to use your given name. You put up a magical boundary shield when it blows back. You don't respect my boundaries. Your boundary is not using people's real names. Rage text. It's insanity. Like, you don't get to decide what other people call themselves. That's not a boundary. The boundary is they get to tell you, their boundary is they get to say what their name is, and you get to call them that. That's called being respectful. A boundary is my name is Alex and you're calling me Joe and I don't like it. Stop it. That's a boundary. Oh my goodness, I can't even. I can't even. I'm tempted to get on Facebook and contact Kim like right now. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell and is entitled Neighbor Mad that we won't co-sign for a loan for his Disney trip. Where do people get the audacity? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We have a neighbor that constantly patrols the neighborhood and always wants to know what each of us are doing and likes to point out any city violation as a favor. We have never done anything social with him or his family in 10 plus years living here. Anyway, last week he asked my wife if her and I would co-sign for him on a $15,000 loan so he could take his kids to Disney World. Absolutely not, sir. I don't know you. I don't know you, and if I did, I wouldn't sign off on it because taking a loan out for a vacation is stupid. That's my boundary. I don't take loans out for vacation, and I'm not going to sign off for you two either. He said times are tough, and this may be the only chance they get to get away and make memories for their family. When I found out what he wanted, I went to his house and let him know that we would not be co-signing for him. He got super pissed and slammed the door in my face. Apparently, he's now going to the other neighbors and asking them. He's got one hell of a set of brass ones. Trick Karen says that is literally insane. Answers he needs to a co-signer because lending institution thinks he's highly likely to default, and they want someone to be liable for the debt. Obviously, why won't the bank lend you the money, sir? Why won't the bank just lend you the money since you're so good for it? Do respond to the second top-rated comment. They say I would be worried about any elderly neighbors that might be talked into doing this. Maple Dev says, OMG, not gonna lie, the obsession some people have with Disney is literally a mental illness at this point. True. Imagining ruining your credit and predatory skimming senior citizens just to see the giant mouse. He is absolutely gonna manipulate someone's sweet grandma into deciding if she feels bad for the kids. Yeah. I had a friend who was like, they went to Disney every year at Christmas. My sister did too. That's weird. Like, it's the worst time to go, like, everybody's there. Like, I went in November when no one was there. Once in November, once in February, no one was there. It's great. Highly recommend. Take your kids out of school for Disney vacation, especially if you're the type of person that educate your kids all the time instead of just when they're in school, like we did. So the teachers didn't care that we took them out because they were smart kids and they knew that they were going to learn something along the way. They said I wouldn't do one of them literally said, I wouldn't do this for everybody in this class, but I'll do it for you guys because I know that the kids are going to learn something. Anyway, I had a friend who would go every year. One year, she said she had $150 left on her credit card. I said, oh, that's great. She's like, no, I only have $150 left that I can spend on the credit card. I'm like, you're an idiot. We're no longer friends, but not because of that. Own Rip says, If you need a loan to go on vacation, you shouldn't be going on that vacation. 100%. Flat Plutoer says, if this is real, the vacation is an attempt to guilt trip. They might be doing a 2K vacation to legitimize and pocket $1,300. Maybe. No, you can't go to Disney for 2K. Leather Royal says, depending on the number of kids he has and how long he wants to stay, 2K isn't very much for a Disney vacation. Food and lodging will eat that up quickly. Yeah, I think we paid 6K, and that was back in 06. Yeah, it was 6K for a week for 6 days. So it's like $1,000 a day. Oh wait, it's probably 2,000 at least now. Next, we have benign existence. Thank goodness. My mom is so cute. I love her. I let my mom know that I'd be leaving soon to run some errands. It took me a bit to get ready. Before I headed out the door, she was in the other room, so I yelled, "Okay, Mom, I'll be back." She yelled, "Wait." So I said, "Why?" And she said, "I want to see how cute you look." I left and walked over to her, and she gave her a little spin. She said, "I look pretty." I thanked her, and it was off. That put the biggest smile on my face and made me so happy. She's such a wonderful mommy. I love her so much. You're lucky. You have a good mom. No, I don't think anybody ever told me I was pretty growing up. Ever. Except boys, which don't count. Boys don't count. No one ever told me I was pretty until he was a boy. Although he was a gay boy. He told me I was pretty. We were hanging around with this other girl that was absolutely gorgeous. And he says, "Oh, you look just like her." And I'm like, "I said, the hell I do." Yabena says, these lovely, sweet moments can make your whole life better. Selena's Valley says, what a sweet story. You're both so cute. That's adorable. I love it. I love it. That's a good mom. Moms, be more like that. Tell your kids they're pretty and cute and handsome. My daughter's gorgeous, by the way. All three of my daughters are gorgeous, by the way. I keep forgetting I have two more now. Found Satan, entitled, GD Bro is never dating again. Steve asks, or no, OPS Steve, why are you so scared of marriage? And Steve says, here's why. A woman I was dating bought me a cologne, which made me extremely happy because she rarely gave me gifts. One day I looked in her phone and found a text she had sent. Bought him the same cologne as yours so I can smell you in my house. Wow. Amateur Rockstar says, ouch. I feel for you, buddy. No kidding. SKG says, GD, that's diabolical. Deceptor Hooker answers, I was at a party and all of us girls were chatting in the host bedroom when we all started talking about perfume. Host grabs her perfume and sprays me full on with it, unprompted, uninvited, rude as way. Turns out she was having an affair with my husband and thought it would be cute if I walked up to him smelling like her. Oh my. Yikes. Okay, you got to put that in there, girl. We want the skinny on all of that. Okay? We want all of that skinny. Third top rated comment says, I had a girlfriend in college, LDR, who I considered the greatest love of my life. While we were in her family event, she gave me her phone to hold while she prepped food. This is a T-Series Sony Ericsson phone, so basically no security. Suddenly it notified for a text message and I opened it thinking nothing, read the guy's message, found out they were living together and the guy knows about me. And you're at a family function? What the heck? I was so shocked I'm trembling, calmly asked her about it, as to not make a scene. She and her sister laughed and said, if you didn't read it, you wouldn't find out. And they kept laughing. I just walked out of the event blank. There's a void in my chest that's eating me. Kept walking for 30 minutes without me noticing or thinking where I'm going. I just wanted to get away from them. I'm happily married now with the kindest girl I ever know. But when I read something like this, there's a part of me that still remembers that pain and void 23 years later. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. English son, my first marriage, I meant the greatest love at that time. Yeah, I knew what he meant. The greatest love so far. USAF says on its own, it's already painful to find out someone is cheating on you, but to have the people laugh like that, that's just evil in its purest form. I bet you're living a whole lot better life than that. See you next Tuesday. This is from Just No Mill, and it is entitled Toddler Shushed Mill. That's got to be funny. In laws came over to visit over the weekend. After weeks of mother in law begging and complaining to husband about not seeing little one as often as she wants, we spent the entire time giving these insanely over exaggerated reactions to everyone little one did. He wasn't doing anything special, just normal toddler visits. It's breezy, can you tell? But she was acting like it was life changing to watch. I noticed she was also constantly smacking husband's arm or waving his hands around to get our attention, to get us to look at him, as if we don't spend every single day with him and see him doing these things all the time. He was doing a triangle puzzle at one point. She freaked out, shouting about how smart he is and how does he know how to do this already? Like, because he's been doing it for months. Like, girl, who do you think taught him? It's like she can't comprehend that we are actually the ones raising our own child, know him better than anyone. Anyway, the little one got so overwhelmed by her that he shushed her. Even the 2-year-old recognized how obnoxious her behavior is. Husband and I could not hold back our laughter. She awkwardly laughed it off, but she did quiet down, and they left not long after. How embarrassing for her, yeah. Debortism says, "Give that kid a ice cream for breakfast. He is a superhero." Yeah, for sure. Brilliant Blue Jay says, "I relate to this so much. My 9-month-old was playing today, and she just couldn't stop responding to every little thing. It makes my head hurt." I don't get to see them enough. I like my little guys. They're fun. I get them all night, Sunday night. I can't wait. Next is Am I the Jerk? Is titled Am I the Jerk for putting a giant ugly statue on my lawn to spite my HOA? Probably yes. Honestly. Yeah, you're kind of a little the jerk. I, 26 male, bought my first house last year. I'm in a neighborhood with a notoriously strict homeowners association. If you don't want to play by the homeowners association rules, don't buy a home homeowners with a homeowners association. The HOA president is this woman named Karen, not her own name, but she earned it. Most of them are. Karen is obsessed with everything looking like boring, perfect cookie cutter magazine catalog, and that's why she's the president. Why don't you run and become the president? That's how you handle it. You don't be obnoxious. My house is a bit older, and I've been slowly renovating it. Last year, Karen sent me a formal HOA violation letter claiming that the gravel driveway I was installing was visually aggressive and ruining the neighborhood's aesthetic. Did you get it approved? She demanded I tear it out and pay for an expensive poured concrete or face a $500 fine. I checked with the HOA rulebook cover to cover. Gravel driveways are actually 100% legal in our zone. She was just making up rules because she hated how it looked. I tried to explain this to her, but she told me, "Move your trashy style somewhere else or I will make your life miserable." Okay, she needs to go to jail now. I was furious, so I decided I was going to ruin her aesthetic. I was going to do it right. I went online and found a guy on Craigslist who was selling a massive 8-foot tall, bright red metal robot statue. It looked exactly like a giant anime mech, complete with huge pointy black sunglasses welded to its chest. It was incredibly loud, bright, and obnoxious. I bought it. I hired a flatbed truck and I had it bolted down directly into my front lawn, facing Karen's house across the street. According to HOA rules, lawn art under 9 feet tall does not require pre-approval. I am perfectly within the rules. No, that had to cost a pretty penny. I'm glad this 26-year-old's making some money for himself. Now, whenever Karen opens her pristine front lawn, she's stared down by a giant, aggressive red robot pointing a massive finger toward her house. She completely lost her mind, screaming at me on my driveway and threatening to sue me. Some of my other neighbors think it's hilarious, but a few think I went too far and escalated a minor argument into a neighborhood war. Am I the jerk here? Or did she get exactly what she deserved? You are the jerk, but it's justified. You're a justified jerk. Some jerk activities are justified. Reflexing Secure says NTJ as long as you post a picture of the lawn art. Massive Maroon Mango says I'm 99% confident it's the title mech from the show Garen Lagann. The black glasses give it away. They never did post a picture. I want to see the picture. Dang it. Princess Bella says, as one who lives in an HOA community, you are a hero. You live there and are doing what makes you happy. A bunch of numbers says, my friend lives in Carbondale and wanted to put up a 5-foot cedar fence around his yard. HOA said no way. So he also found the same art loophole. He works at a place that makes skate parks from concrete. He blew up the air freshener trees people used to hang in the car to 8.75 feet and all the colors with the same typeface sent labels exactly like the air fresheners and put them up as a fence. Turns out lots of people like them and he has sold a ton of them as art. He uses the leftover concrete from jobs to pour them, 3 inches by 8.75 feet. The HOA tried to sue him, but it was in their bylaws, so LOL. And then we had pictures are not real type people, which I also am. I did that for my friend. She said she had bears in her yard. I said pictures are not real. She has bears in her yard. Now every time I say anything, she says pictures are going to happen, which is fair. It's fair. Signs of the story. This is entitled Dave's for everything that's fixed eventually. Losing my cursor everywhere. It says Dave's maintenance shop. We can repair anything. Please knock hard on the door. The bell doesn't work. So typical. So typical. Educated Answer says I bought a house from a diesel mechanic and negotiated that they leave their ZTR mower as part of the deal. I'd be shocked if the oil, air filter, or hydraulic oil has ever been changed. If the blades were ever sharpened, it was a decade ago. An hour, and the hour meter was dead. It's a 72-inch commercial mower that would still be worth. Our cars always had dings and such, because my dad was an auto body repairman. The last thing he wanted to do was repair our. I had to disconnect him. Yeah, that happens. Birthday cake I custom ordered for my friend. This is from Expectation versus Reality, of course. Well, I guess this is the inspiration. This is the Twilight. What's his face cake? I can't remember the dang character name. Anyway, you know what I mean. Not Jacob. I'm Team Jacob. That's what they got. That's not bad. Oh, nice. It's from Bella Bakes. That's cute. The Bella Bakes is awesome. I love it. It's awesome. I want to know what flavor it was. We were all dying all day. I don't know what to expect when I gave the baker the reference pictures, but she completely understood the vision. Money very well spent, and will be repeat customers. Wizard says huge improvement from the last time I saw someone request this cake. I remember that one, right? You should. Bones Court says, and the baker's name is Bella. Exactly. That was my thought too. Automatic Flight says silver frosting is hard to recreate. Great job. If you have enough glitter, anything is possible. This is from Zilla Gone Wild. It's our real estate. Oh, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Snapchat down below. There's a link to my Snapchat. Follow me and ask me to put you on the Biddy list, and then I give out a notification to all those people fairly shortly before I go on, just to remind you. That's the best one. All my other social media is down there too. You can follow me on all of that. I give updates on almost all of them every day. Every day that I work into Biddy. This is in Poughkeepsie, New York. Was the car included? So it's $850,000, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 4,675 square feet. That's huge. That is huge. We could keep the car. They must be counting the basement because that does not look like a 4,000 square foot house at all. It is kept in its original condition. It's cheap for that big a house. This is in Catskills. So in the mountains. Nice fireplace. I actually don't mind the tile on the floor like that. It's not the best. It needs to be redone, but the kitchen is a dead end, apparently. Where's the refrigerator? Is that it? Is that it? If the refrigerator's on the same, oh, that is the fridge. Where's the sink's over here. Okay, I guess that's not bad. I don't know what I thought I was looking at. The range used to be over here, clearly, because that's a range hood. Or is that the range? Oh, you can barely tell it's in there. It matches the countertop. That's crazy. That's crazy pants. I like it, though. Your little nookie nook for your old computer. Like, why do you have a 1980s style Apple computer? Oh, does it still work? Oh, jeez. I used to play on one of those when I was in high school, and I'm old. Another fireplace. That's nice. Interesting. 1-bedroom, 1. Bathrooms, okay-ish. Is it green or is it white? Because it looks green. Is that the window tint? We bought a house that had a pink carpet, so I had my husband paint the room a light green, and it looked white. It was great because I didn't want a pink room. I didn't like the pink carpet at all, but it stayed the entire time we lived there. And the green was not bothersome at all, and I'm not a big green fan. I like blues and reds and stuff. Although that sage green that's really popular right now, I like that. Almost all the stuff I buy is that color lately because I don't like the other colors, and that one's okay. Front door. That is not a 47 square foot house. I'm sorry. It's just not. No, if you're counting the lower level, that might be. Oh, they have a ping pong table in the patio. How does that work in Hudson Valley? Oh, that's nice. Do you own it all the way up to the lake or up to the river? I mean, that'd be nice. Holy cow, look at that. That's awesome. I love the location for sure. Four bedrooms, three baths, 4,675 square feet. Designed in 1961 by Paul Cannon. It's the original owner. Oh, it's custom residence for the original owner. Sensibility of a California ranch. Set on over 2 acres bordering Wappinger Creek. I'm kidding. Rare sense of permanence and privacy. 300 acres of neighboring farmland beyond the creek. Thoughtful upgrades of modernized infrastructure while preserving the character. Recently, it's got a new roof and septic system, electrical panel, whole house generator needed. But that many trees around for sure. Backyard fence and central air conditioning along with other upgrades. It's not even that much money. $850,000 for 2 acres on a creek river. That's a river. Finished area is 40. Yeah, see, it's only 2,400 square feet. The below ground is 2,300 square feet. 2-car garage. 2 levels. They didn't show the lower level, did they? That's crazy. More outside shots than inside shots. Not cool. Makes me worry about what it looks like. It's not showing where it's actually at. If you need me, I'll be in the record room listening to some sweet tunes. Short Hyena says there's something soothing about this house. OP says it's just nestled perfectly in the landscape and the colors fit so well with the surroundings. Yeah. That's what you get in a California house. Ginkachu says, why does this have the vibe of the best therapist you'll ever see, but it was definitely out of network with your insurance? Does the Macintosh come with it? As the vibes of that Apple TV show Severance, probably because the 80s decor. Rich Librarian says, where can I get a floppy disk these days? I knew somebody would mention that Macintosh. Server Life entitled Refuse Someone's Money Tonight. There's a party at 10 for a birthday. It was a nice time overall, except for one guy. Served drinks, he got a mojito. Cool. Where's the salt room? He asked, glaring at me. I look at him bewildered. We can get you one if you like. I'm sorry they didn't give you one. He scoffs, trying to insist that he said, don't worry about it. Cool. Check back later to see how appies are going. Everyone is great. He says, it would be better, but I'm still wondering why they didn't give me a salt rim. Okay, you told them to never mind. I'll bring it up again. I finally tell him, brother, we don't do that here and never have. I offered you one. I don't know what else to say. You might get a salt room on vacation in Mexico with the one. He looks at me this time bewildered and says, oh, no, it's fine. I just think they should put salt on the rims. That's a really cool opinion, brozo. Anyway, smile and nod. Time to bill out. Surprised the table wants separate checks. Nothing too good or bad until this guy. Bill is $118.93. Hands me a crisp 100.20. I say, I'll be right back with your change. He says, no, keep it. It's yours. I insist, no, I'm going to get you your dollar on 120. Hold on. I give it to him and smile at him. Not taking this guy's money if I'm clearly not just not liked by him. I can't give him a good drink or service. He instantly stands up and asks to talk to the manager. I just smile and say ran away. Manager basically laughs at him. Rant over what a jackass. Honey Dip says mojitos don't come with the salt rim. Yeah, that didn't sound right to me either. I think he was thinking of a margarita. What idiot. Opie says, yeah, I was trying not to embarrass him at first, But someone else at the table also had a mojito, and they can't have all not known. Somebody should have called them out on it. November Song says salt rim on a mojito sounds weird AF. Opie says, yep, never heard that one before. Like Reefer says, I have been a bartender for over 15 years and never been asked to put a salt rim on a mojito. Because it doesn't go on a mojito, it goes on a margarita. If a mojito had got a rim, it would be a sugar rim. If they got a rim. Next, we have confession, and it is entitled, I started working from home recently and found a loophole. Okay, so I, 22 female, am using a burner account because my job could be at stake if someone found out. I recently started from home in the finance sector. My job consists of taking a lot of calls, don't want to give too much away. We do a lot of overtime calls as calls can drop in at 1 minute to finish, and we can't just hang up, mind you. Calls can last from 2 minutes to 2 hours, depending on what the customer needs. That's too long to work overtime. Too long to work overtime. I was sitting there a couple of weeks ago, and it was 45 minutes past my off cue time. It was Friday night, which is drinking night, and y'all, girl was thirsty. The call was 45 minutes past. The call was looking like it was going to be at least another 30 minutes because there were a couple of different things the customer wanted to do. Well, here's where it gets bad. I just had a customer before this one who got a call and had to go, which gave me a bright idea. So the way the system is set up, we can see the customer's phone number on the screen. Well, guilt in my veins and Long Island iced teas come to mind. I pick up my phone and set it to private, and the customer says, oh, I'm getting a call, gotta go. And I said he'd call back. I'd muted the mic on my phone so he couldn't hear me, and I hung up as soon as he picked up. I gotta leave and have a drink, and I didn't have to continue talking to a rude customer. I was ecstatic, never told a soul. But whenever a customer is extra rude or talks down to me or calls in or goes on too long, I call them. It works 90% of the time. I hate that this is me and I do feel bad. I just need to tell somebody. I mean, I get it. 2 hours is. Why are you answering calls 45 minutes past your off time? That's abusive from your company. Herbert checked in, says, it was answering calls from unknown numbers after they finally got through to customer service rep. You better be faking my wife's number and spamming me before I click away. And Applebee says, I don't even doubt it because I cold call people for my job and these people answer an unknown number labeled spam in so many situations like that. I got answer in the shower yesterday. I was just like, I can tell you another time, sir. No, he answered you in the shower on purpose. So he could tell you he was in the shower. Now you have that mental injury to your head. It's to make you feel uncomfortable. Apparently it worked. Kylerian says, old guy here, back in the days when your modem was connected to your phone and your landline. Sorry. Back in the days when your modem was connected to your phone and your landline, I'd simply ask them to disconnect their modem, which would hang up the phone call. Ka says, who takes a call from an unknown number while on a call with a customer service agent? If I'm working with someone on an issue of mine, I'm probably not answering my phone, even for important calls. Do switched over for potential spam. My husband and I have been together for almost 10 years. Oh, come on. Okay. My husband and I have been together for almost 10 years. We met when my daughter was turning 5. Since then, we have built a family together and now have twin girls and a son. So 3 kids together and my daughter from a previous relationship. My daughter, now 13, has always seen her bio dad every other weekend. Her father has never tried to take me to court or custody, so I have full legal custody of her. He's always been okay with every other weekend. 3 years ago, my daughter was 10. A situation happened to where I didn't allow him to see my daughter for a month. I may be in the wrong here, but I did it because her biological father was getting drunk and talking badly to me about my daughter. I mean, that's legitimate, but you should have gone to court. What really did it was him telling my daughter that I abandoned her when I left the state to be a stripper. That was not all true, and even if it was, why would he think it was appropriate to tell a 10-year-old? I told him that in order to see her, he needed to apologize and tell his daughter that he lied. Fast forward to now, her father and I have a much better relationship. He and I were out having lunch with our daughter, and it came to light that during that time, we were no contact for a month, that my mother-in-law was secretly contacting him and his wife, trying to convince them to take me to court for full custody, and even offered to pay for their lawyer fees. Evil mother-in-law. Oh my goodness. She did this knowing the full situation and knowing her son has helped raise my daughter since she was 5. My husband forgives her and chooses to have a relationship with her. I just don't think it's something I can ever get past. Night Noche says, you have a husband problem. What your mother-in-law did is sociopathic. Did you confront her? Uh, LP says, yes, her apologize to me was a text that basically said, I don't know why you focus on the negative. I do so much for you guys. I'm choosing to text you because I'm choosing my peace. Adagio says, wow, what POS she is. Oh, that's ridiculous. The husband did nothing. Weird. Uh, so the OOP is in the comments. Post is about me and I couldn't make a post due to not having enough karma. At first, I was told she was only trying to get them to take me to court for 50-50. Her dad and his wife told me this first because they didn't really want to get involved in the mess, but since I stated me and my husband and I were getting a divorce, they did okay this. What really happened was she was trying to get us to take full custody and offered to pay for it, regardless if it was 50-50 full custody. The fact that she dared to try and take my daughter from me when I've had full custody for the last 10 years beyond foul and no coming back from. Shelley says, you're getting a divorce now? And OOP says, sure am. That was the last straw after her disrespecting me for 10 years. I'm done. Good. You do not need that in your life. Taki Tina says, of all the evil, scheming, conniving things I've heard of, I don't have advice, but I have all the sympathy in the world. Nora Jen Graves says, do you allow your kids to see her? And OOP says, hi, my friend posted this for me because I don't have enough karma. I blocked all contact from her having a relationship with my oldest daughter. However, my husband still wants her to have a relationship and takes them over there frequently. His recommendation is that me and her have no contact, but honestly, I feel like that means she's winning. He still gets to see her son and her bio grandkids, no consequences. Her apology to me was a text that stated, I don't know why you focus on the negative. I do so much for you guys. Obviously, not in the right frame of mind for that. Interesting AF. Norway's World Cup team photo is impressive. I love it. I absolutely love it. Look at all these guys. That is historically hot. I love it. That's great. This guy especially is feeling the part. Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, he's feeling it. He's feeling it. Here's here's the Japanese team like dressed as ninjas. Get it? Oh, that's great. It's really funny. Oh, I forgot. Western Comic Strip says, I can't believe you made me click on that photo. Oh, my cranes are in the backyard. They had 2 babies, 1 male, 1 female. Oh, he made a noise. I didn't know that was his noise. That was an interesting noise. I've heard that noise before. I didn't know it's them. It was kind of like almost like a hammering, quick little hammer. The memes on this one are great. If you want a link, let me know. I'll send it to you. My email address is in the description. Next is Am I the A-hole? And is entitled AITA requiring Bill family to vacate the primary bedroom when my family visits our vacation house. Maybe. My 36 female parents and I owned a property in a tier 1 Asian city that has been in our family for now 3 generations. My parents were considering selling it a while back, but I bought them out. Okay, so it's your house. Although I paid lower than market price, my parents were happy with the deal, and they still have a place to stay when they go back. Usually the property is rented out, but my husband's younger brother fell on hard times, and we offered to let them temporarily stay at the property rent-free so they can save up. They've been there for the past 2 years. That's too long. That's about 22 months too long. Whenever we've gone back to visit, usually once a year for two weeks, I had specifically requested that they temporarily vacate the primary bedroom. They hemmed and hawed the first time until my husband, 38 male, reminded them that we are doing them a favor. This year, where they were not going to back, we are not going back. My parents are. I gave them 6 months heads up on the dates my parents weren't going. All seemed fine. Last week, I got a call from my parents stating that they were staying in a hotel. Apparently, they arrived and Bill and Sil said they were hosting friends, and the only space available was the home office with a pull-out couch. My parents are in their 70s and did not want to fight them after a long flight, and also did not want to antagonize my relationship with my in-laws, so decided to move to a hotel. I was furious. Typing this, I am still furious. I don't blame you. That's ridiculous. I told my husband that he should be the one to handle this because no one would like the way I handle it. My husband basically told his brother that he's done and he needed to move out immediately. My Bill and Sil texted me and left me a voicemail message calling me a bunch of names. In-laws have called me begging me to reconsider and give them grace. No, absolutely not. It's not even their family's home. It's someone else's family. And they're telling that family that they have to lay in a pull-out couch when they had 6 months heads up on this. No. Luckily, I really don't care what happens to Bill and Sil anymore. I haven't responded to any messages. I'm just letting my husband handle it. Good for you, if he does a good job. Quiet Jump says, NTA, but you need to go there to assess damage or avoid damage. Change the locks and ensure the cameras are everywhere. White Teach says, yes, with this attitude, there's a good chance they will do damage before they leave. In OP's shoes, I'd offer them money if the place is in good condition when they leave it, sort of returning their rental non-deposit. May sound crazy, but you know they're not going to expect any consequences for the damage they may do. They're living there rent-free. It's insane. Many years ago in a Latin American country, my family moved to a rental where the previous tenant had taken the hot water heater, the back door, replaced a solid wood door with a cheap hollow door, and the bathroom cabinet when he moved out. People are weird. Oh my goodness, I guess. Second type rate comment says, NTA, how dare they host friends when they knew your parents were coming and that you, the owners of the house, expected your parents accommodated? Your husband was right to tell them to move out. They deserve no grace. Exactly. When someone's doing you a favor, you do as much as you can back. Spinning Color says, NTA, 2 years of free rent in tier 1 Asian city. I'm imagining Tokyo, Beijing, Singapore, and you gave them 6 months notice to vacate the master bedroom for your parents. It's eviction time, baby. Exactly. That's insanity. Like I said, it's 22 months too long. Next is from I Don't Work Here Lady, entitled Use the Door. I'm visiting Ireland from America. I was in Galway today at McDonald's bathroom, just trying to take a crap as one does in a bathroom. Heard a knock on my stall, accompanied by a very British, how does one get out of the toilet? She keeps knocking on the stall. I'm assuming she's trying to find a free stall, so I'm say, I'm in here. She asked if I work there. Lady, I'm in the bathroom stall. Why would you assume that? And I say, no, and then I'll be out in a minute as I'm trying to pull my pants up to go help this very confused old lady. I get out and she's like, I don't know how to get out. The door is locked. I go over to the door and pull the handle and it opens. Lady goes, oh, thank you. It's my first time here. It's your first time where? On earth? In a bathroom? In a room with a door? She left and just looked for a second. The door, the door that's right there, to myself in the mirror, because that's what I wanted to say to her, and then I left. Very confusing interaction, though. That's crazy. She's probably pushing the door. She's probably pushing the door instead of pulling it. Or maybe she has dementia. She could have dementia and forgot how to use doors, to be honest. Next, we have Overheard, and is titled The Butt. Overheard two teenage brothers in the supermarket. The youngest looking brother appeared to be blind because he was looking down most of the time while holding the shopping cart handle. The older brother was pushing. It was just us browsing the food section. Older brother, serious dude, she was checking you out. Younger brother, she's probably trying to figure out what's wrong with me. Older brother, or she was trying to figure out if you're gay or not. They literally look like twinks. It confuses the public. Younger brother, what'd she look like? Older brother, cute. Younger brother, nice butt. Older brother, I didn't see her butt. She was wearing an oversized hoodie. Younger brother, oh man, the butt is the best part. Older brother, the butt is a bonus, bro. The best part is passion. Anyway, dad just texted. He's waiting for us. That is so adorable. I love it. Absolutely love it. Oh, Crazy Score says, I can hear this totally in my head. Barry Way says, right, it plays like a scene straight off a sitcom. I love it. Rainbow Unicorn Poop says, this is funny because I'm completely blind, and when I go out with friends, the first question I ask when they tell me someone is checking me out is he hot? It doesn't really matter for me for real because I can't see them anyway, but it's nice to know the hot guy was looking my way. Livid Ed says, if you blind, then never mind. Large heart on Large Collider. We'll call him Large Collider. Says he was going to ask you how you're reading this and just decided to say never mind. Rainbow Unicorn Poop says, that's what I figured, but I mean, if you're just literally going to write never mind in your comment, why even comment? And to answer his question, it's a neat little thing called technology. You should get acquainted with it by learning how to Google things, like accessibility for the blind. See, I didn't even think about it because it doesn't like come to my mind that blind people can't read the internet because I know all the accommodations. Geisha says, I'm also completely blind. It still surprises me how often people think this. Like, people really think they're completely helpless and can't do anything. Also, dyslexics can read the internet because they have it read to them also, like blind people. Lester Durst says, a buddy in high school was blind. He used to ask me what girls looked like. I think he was born blind. I would try to describe the girl who had walked by in detail for him. It was a big surprise when I got a friend request from him. He had many photos of him and his husband. Never saw that one coming. Whatever makes you happy. Usual AB says, never saw that one coming. Neither did he. Love Wanna Die Wise is passion of the blind leading the blind. It confuses the public. Coming to a theater near you. It is funny when the blind lead the blind. It's kind of hilarious, to be honest. And yes, I've experienced it. I'm not me being blind, but I've experienced other blind people leading each other. It's pretty funny. Next, I tear off my chest and is entitled, I just lost all feelings for my boyfriend instantly. That's gotta be rough. My car's getting worked on, so I need a ride home from work. He was in a bad mood from his work, and he was already speeding, driving angrily and threatening to cut off an old lady because she wasn't going fast enough. We were headed to the bank, and the ATM wasn't working, and they were closed. He needed money for weed. No, he didn't. You don't need weed. I started throwing a fit because of it. I said I would pay for it, and he could pay me back. And this man-child was like, no. We get home, where we park is a minute walk to the door. He storms to the door, before me unlocks it and shuts it. How embarrassing because he didn't get weed. I go inside and ask him, what did I do? He said, nothing. I'm taking a shower and going to bed. Are you throwing that big of a fit because you can't smoke weed? I'm done with being with loser men who can't regulate their emotions. Girl, mine up. Agreed. I don't know why the moderator. They locked it and they have not reopened it. They locked it and they took it off. I don't know why. 20 says frequency says stop being friends with someone for being this much of a loser. So why would you want to keep dating them? Exactly. Yeah. Just don't smoke that much weed. You don't need it every day. It's a special occasion, a special event substance. Special event substance. That's what it is. Next, we have in-laws, and is entitled, I just spotted a mother-in-law being a piece of work in the wild. This made me snort and shake my head. I've been hanging out in a cute little downtown area for the morning and was headed back to my car. This place is very popular, so there's always lots of traffic. You're lucky if you can get parallel parking spot near the restaurant/business you want to visit instead of needing to park in one of the garages. Nice thing is that there are a ton of four-way stops with crosswalks, so it's possible to cross the street without fear. I was heading back to my car, and there were 3 young, squirrely kids standing on the sidewalk with their boomer-aged grandma. Her mom walks around their car, adjusting her crossbody, putting things inside. The grandma says something about crossing the street. The mom replied, no, we'll go down to cross the crosswalk. Mother-in-law scoffed and said, I don't suppose crossing at the crosswalk will be that much safer, in the most derisive term. Daughter-in-law just ignored her and set off for the crosswalk, which was maybe 20 yards away, and the restaurant they were headed was just on the other side. There's absolutely no reason to have a bunch of little kids dart in between parked cars on a busy street. Exactly. There's no reason to disrespect this mom by calling her decision into question. And no reason to model jaywalking to the kids. Obvious bananas boomer behavior. Dependent Cherry says, yep, this has my mother-in-law written all over it. She always takes some sort of personal offense to in-laws, like no kids in front of the car or booster seats. Her response saying, we didn't have that when your kids were little. You're fine. We had car seats when my kids were little. My response is yes, it was enacted because some kids were not fine. They died. She's a blooming idiot. Opie says survivorship basis is so strong with these women. My mother-in-law tried to argue that the 40-year-old drop-side crib she had was safe because all the other babies survived in it. I was like, the fact that it's 40 years old makes it all the more dangerous, lady. Yeah, no kidding. Bikini Jeeper says, my dad is a boomer aged, but is amazing. And that being said, when we were kids, like 7 to 15, since there were 4 of us, he once jaywalked with all of us, and the cop made him turn around with us and go back to the crosswalk to set a good example. We still give him grief for that. Good, you should. Zealous Ideals Bat says, ha ha. I think mom has done this many times before. To be fair, though, could mother-in-law actually be the maternal grandmother here? Yeah, that's true. Some moms are not good. Next is what do I do? And is entitled, Son's grandmother reached out about a family trip overseas. Hasn't spent one overnight in our own country. Would you be cool with this? Maybe. Hi, how are things? We're having our annual family reunion, but this year we're going to be different, unique. We are all 35 of us flying to Costa Rica to surprise somebody. We'll call him Dan. We've rented an island just for us. Only access is from a boat. Dan has no idea. He's going to Ball of Happiness. And it's been 10 years since the family has seen him. We have a ticket for Dan, and we really want him to come. A ticket for John, and we really want him to come with us and join us on this reunion. It would be an experience that would stay with John forever. I know he needs a passport. No problem. We'll get that for him. All expenses paid for him on his trip. I'm really excited about this for John. I hope you will be too. We leave from London Airport June 30th until August 15th. You do not have time to get a passport. I mean, it's in London, so maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe it's different in the UK. You're going to be 6 months out. Doesn't say when this was sent. For more context, my son is 13. The trip is to surprise his father, who lives in Costa Rica since his birth. Edit for clarification, hasn't spent one overnight at grandma's. He has had overnight stays. He's 13. I think it should be his decision whether he wants to go or not. He's old enough to decide that. He's 13. 5 years, he's going to be a freaking adult. He's got to start making decisions at some point. My son's grandmother, Dad's mom, reached out today asking that he fly out with the family for 6 weeks. I expressed that's too long for a first sleepover. She said, my mistake, the trip ends July 15th, not August. I said, okay, still a bit much. Trip is 9 days. 9 days to go visit his dad? I don't think that's too much to ask. Can I ask why I wasn't given more notice? She said, he's going to love it. John is a huge part of the surprise. Lots of kids and adults. He's met most of them and they get along really well. Doesn't answer my question. I said, understand. What I don't understand is why the decision to purchase this ticket was made without talking to me while you were waiting until a week to let me know. It's like you're backing me into a corner on the subject. Just ask your kid if he wants to go. Ask your kid if he wants to go. He's 13. So it's not paid for, but we're putting things together. It's in motion. So it's not paid for. Update. I offered to look into purchasing a ticket to go along. She has reached back and said the date was meant to say August 30th, July 30th to August 15th, and she planned to purchase his ticket tomorrow. Blaming the mistake on being a bit stoned. I asked that she waits in order for me to figure out what works for my schedule. Still feeling uneasy. I think 13 is perfectly fine. There's another update. We have an update. Says she can't take the time off. And the mother-in-law answers, everything happens for a reason. Due to the tropical rain, the rivers have flooded over the bridges, and the only access to where we're going is with a helicopter, so we've postponed the trip until after the new year, which is better because you can see a lot more wildlife at that time. Peace be to you. Well, I mean, I would ask the kid whether he wants to go or not. He's perfectly capable. Actually, at 13, most courts will ask the kid who they want to live with. So yeah, you should ask your kid if he wants to go. He might not. And if he does want to go, you can send him without you. He's a big boy. He's not a little baby anymore. And it's his father, for Pete's sake. Next, we have entitled parents, and it is entitled, I had to yell at an EM who was cussing her toddler daughter in a hospital. Yikes. This happened a few years ago, but I often think about this little girl and thought I'd share. I work at a hospital one night as I was leaving. I keep hearing this woman cursing, hurry the wang up. What the wang are you doing? Wangy, move. Now it was near midnight, and I thought maybe this woman was getting mad at his spouse or something. But seeing as cursing like that in the hospital is not really appropriate, it's not appropriate anywhere, to be honest. I look over my shoulder to see what was up. This is what I see: a little trailer trash of an entitled mother pushing a stroller with a baby, the useless appendage of a baby daddy, a little boy about 6 years old, and a toddler daughter. Entitled mom was screaming at her toddler daughter, who looked like she wasn't even capable of speech yet, who was struggling to keep up and stumbling in tiny footy pajamas. Poor baby. Clasping onto the tiniest little sippy cup. Every time the daughter would stop, stumble into a sitting position, or get distracted, the mom would turn back and yell something at her with the word wang attached. It was nearly midnight. Now I get entitled mom might be exhausted. But how did those kids feel? The boy and toddler were in matching footy pajamas, no shoes, both looking absolutely despondent. The worst part is they were leaving from the direction of the attached children's hospital, so one of those kids had to be there for health reasons. However, this mom was acting in public in a hospital. After a few more curses directed at this little girl who almost fell down trying to keep up, I saw red. I turned around and yelled, what the wang is wrong with you? It's nearly midnight. She's tired. She's a little girl. Get you over your wangy entitlement, you bitch. Entitled mom just babbled about a bit as I turned back around. I heard her mother, who the wang does she think she is? To useless appendage. I turned around and shot her a glance. Who the wang do I think I am? I'm a woman who grew up in the aftermath of an abusive, narcissistic narcissist of a mother who pulled the same crap. I almost died as a toddler because my mom pulled the keep up BS to me. I saw myself in that little girl, and someone needed to speak up for her when no one else did. You should have said that to her. You should have said, I was that kid, and I had a mom like you, and I almost died. So you need to keep up. You need to knock it off. If one person could change how that child is being treated, I'm happy to be that person. After that, no more yelling or cursing with her. If EM treats her kids in public like this, what does she do behind closed doors? Exactly. Little girl, I hope you're okay. The way your mother treats you isn't okay. And I hope you have the support system you need when you grow up. Also, parents, your toddler can't just keep up. They're tiny and easily capable of getting hurt. Hold their hand, or if you have a useless suspension like EM, have him carry the kid. She's clearly exhausted. The poor baby. Why don't they have a double stroller? When my kids were little, we had a double stroller because we had 2 toddlers. They were 2 years apart, but we had 2 of them. Serial Semantics says, what a terrible person. Just reading this made me want to punch her. Opie says, I was so close, but I didn't want to lose my job fighting visitors on campus, for fighting visitors on campus. I felt I did as best I could in the moment. Serial Semantics answers, well, I'm sure that at home you've got a pillow that needs some aggressive fluffing. Maleficent says, yeah, except poor little girl and the others, she needs to have CPS called on her because she's a terrible mother. OP says, in the worst part, she has 3 kids. Bruda External says, I worked loss prevention for Kmart back in the day. One night as the store was closing, I was standing at the desk watching a mother walking out the exit door with her at most 4-year-old son. Once they'd reached the final automatic doors and stepped onto the sidewalk, I witnessed this so-called mother smack this little boy upside his head no less than 4 times. I shot out the door and got in her face and told her if I saw her lay one more hand on him, I was going to do worse to her. She tried to run her mouth as my boss dragged me away, and in the end, she got in her car with that poor kid and hauled ass off the property. I still think about him all these years later. I hope he's okay. People be crazy. This is All the Consequences. And it's entitled, This is Why We Need to Be Careful About Digging Holes at the Beach. I need to go to the original. My cursor ever gets over here. So we're digging a hole.
Keep digging, Freddie. Keep digging. Then you'll make it.
And now they can't get him out.
I need help.
And they're so sunburned. God, put some sunscreen on. Jeez. And there's just more sand coming in. They're gonna get out. They're shoveling water out, and it's just coming right back in. Well, they got almost all the water out, thank goodness. That sand is suck you in. If you've ever been on wet sand, you know this. I call the cops.
Yeah.
Oh, one of them.
Hey, you guys. Yeah, you guys can do that. We'll stand away. You're welcome.
Well, that was a group effort, so that's nice. Nice to have group effort. Holy cow. Don't be do stupid stuff. Stop with the stupid stuff. People, come on. What are we doing here? Life for me says, holes on the beach can also trap turtles. I try to tell people that think I'm being a jerk when I tell them to fill them in before they leave. Jim Bob Joe Smith says, when they say leave no trace, they mean that literally. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Atlas Warped says, before this video started going around, I'll admit I had no idea how dangerous this could be. I always dug around the bitch as a kid and never thought about it until this video. And you should also be careful because you can also dig it deep enough that it will bury you and then you will not come back. Enborough says, digging a hole on the beach isn't inherently dangerous. Digging a massive hole deeper than a person and filling it with water while you sit in it is a Darwin Award crap. Exactly. And Jim Bob Joe Smith is also the third rated comment and says, burnt to a crisp too. Gamer Girl says, that can't have felt good. I've had second degree sunburns before. It was awful. Yeah, sunburns are not fun. I had a second degree sunburn last year. It was not fun. Wasn't that as bad as them because mostly on my face, but it was second degree. You know when it's second degree because you're peeling a little later. Next, we have Best of Redditor updates. And it is entitled, I found my husband's wedding ring after he lost it in the Mediterranean. Now I need help surprising him. Oh, this sounds like a good one. Original May 24th, 2026. A few weeks ago, my husband lost his wedding ring in the Mediterranean while we were on holiday. We searched for it everywhere, but eventually had to accept it was gone. Ever since, he's been really quiet about it, but I can tell it's hitting him hard. He keeps absentmindedly touching the spot where the ring used to be, and every so often he'll say something like, I can't believe it's gone. Up until now, I didn't realize he was a tad attached to it. That's sweet. So secretly, after we got home, I tracked down a local metal detector guy from the area and asked if there was any chance he could try looking for it. I told him I'd pay whatever he wanted. This man spent 2 days searching the sea for the ring. Somehow, unbelievably, he found it. My husband has absolutely no idea we have it back. I'm trying to think of the most meaningful, emotional, unforgettable way to give it back. Give it back to him. We've been together for 9 years and married for 3. I already know this is going to make him cry. Reddit, help me make this moment special. He hates crowds and attention. I would just go out to dinner and do the old ring and a cake thing with the restaurant. Commenter 1. I lost my ring at a concert and I went to with my buddies while waving my hands around, and the singer of the band asked everyone to stop and check around their feet for the ring. Shockingly, someone yelled out, here it is, and I got back almost immediately. I'm also very attached to the ratty old ring and would be devastated to lose it. My son's ring is somewhere in his yard. He lost it under not good circumstances. Update July 4th, 2026, 11 days later. Hello, my lovelies. I have an update for you. My husband doesn't like pictures, so I try to be as descriptive as possible. The ring arrived in the mail yesterday evening, and I was ridiculously excited. My husband had absolutely no clue what was in the package. Since it had a Spanish post stamp on it, he just assumed I had bought something unminted and thought nothing more of it. We got takeaway for dinner, currently our vision of fancy date after buying a house 6 months ago. Can relate. Attending my friend's wedding in the Mediterranean. We were just about to tuck into our Thai food on the sofa. My husband was in a grumpy mood, nothing serious, just one of those days, and asked me if I asked if he'd like me to pour us some cola while he picked something to watch on Netflix. I went to the kitchen, got her a drink, sat back down, and as casually as I could manage, I held up the ring. So, do you want to put your wedding ring on? His face immediately looked like he was about to say, "Stop bringing up the ring." He was still browsing Netflix when he looked over and saw it. Instant silence. His jaw dropped slightly and he wrinkled his forehead. He just stared at it for like forever. I asked if he was okay. He took the ring, checked the engraving, inspected every little detail, and once he realized it was actually his ring, he put it on. He pulled me into such a tight hug we both fell backwards onto the sofa. My husband doesn't usually wear his heart on his sleeve, but he couldn't stop smiling for the rest of the evening. He kept looking at the ring and turning it over in his hands. Oh, I'm going to cry. This is so sweet. Later, he told me he'd finally made peace with losing it. He convinced himself it was gone for good and was probably pirate treasure by now. He said seeing it again was like seeing a ghost, and he was genuinely in shock. Then I asked him if he was happy and whether he was still willing to remain married to me. He laughed and said, "If you're willing to fight the seas just to make me happy, then of course I would." That absolutely melted me. Even though he has crazy moments, as husbands generally do, he's genuinely the kindest, most understanding man I've ever known, and he deserves the world. Thank you to everyone who gave me suggestions to share on this little adventure. A massive thank you to the incredible metal detector man, who somehow managed to find a wedding ring in the Mediterranean Sea when all hope was lost. My husband has his ring back, and we couldn't be happier. Oh, that's so sweet. I love that one. I can't even say anything about it. I love it so much I don't even want to read comments. This has made me smile. Okay, that other one made me smile. How Japan left their changing room after playing the Netherlands yesterday. From the BBC. It's just a picture. I am not surprised at all. Japanese people have morals and, or at least have ethics about how to be neat and clean. They are known for their tidiness. I mean, they live in little tiny homes. Yeah, they kind of have to be tidy. Kind of cool. It says, "My mom raised me to leave a place nicer than I left it, so I get it." Exactly. Argentine Beauty says, "I love that this has become their World Cup tradition. They probably leave areas tighter than when they arrived." Somebody says to do it at the Olympics. Emily says, "They're taught in school to clean up after themselves. A lot of schools require students to clean them. We really need to adapt this in the US. Yes, we do." Epsilon says, "A few years ago in high school, I was part of the yearbook committee. And when asking teachers what class they wanted to bring to school, you can't believe how many teachers wanted to have a housework class. Follow a close second is culinary arts, which in all fairness used to exist before I came to school. Additionally, clarification, my school does have a career financial management, which I found really useful, teaching me how to write checks and building goals, but the school is still missing home economics, which is what the teachers really wanted in school." Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. I taught my kids how to write checks. Actually, they kind of learned in 6th grade how to write checks. They had a little thing where they actually took a field trip somewhere and they learned a lot of like how to write a check, how to make a grocery list, that type of thing. It's really important. The older kids need to learn how to invest their money. 401ks are ubiquitous now, so they really need to do that. A home financial economics class. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you all have a good night. What's the weather supposed to be tomorrow? Full forecast tonight. Even cooler, 57 degrees tonight. So I should get some more good sleep tonight. Hopefully, I slept a whole nearly 8 hours last night. I went to bed early. I went to bed before 11. I usually don't go to bed till midnight or so. Usually don't go to sleep till 12:30, and I went right out. I didn't even read or anything. I went straight to bed. 11:00, 11:05, I was asleep. I'm sure I was asleep by 11:05. It's highly unusual for me. All right, I love you all, biddies. Have a good day. Take care. Bye. Love you all. Bye.